She told me, "If you love me, you'll sign without reading." So I read every word, then read it aloud at the rehearsal dinner, right before I called off the wedding. Love, to me, always came down to trust. You don't question everything. You don't doubt every word, especially not when you've spent 3 years building something real. So when Claire looked me in the eyes and said, "Let's not involve lawyers. We don't need a prenup if we truly love each other," I paused, but didn't argue. She was beautiful, smart in her own way, and had this magnetic energy that pulled people in. I was in it, fully. I'm 38 now, real estate developer, worked hard to get where I am. Not outrageously wealthy, but I own property, run projects, and have made more right decisions than wrong ones. Claire was 30. She called herself a wellness coach, mostly ran her brand through Instagram with breathy affirmations and yoga routines. I never minded it. I thought it made her happy. She had dreams. I thought I was helping her build them. We'd been engaged nearly a year. I proposed after a trip to Maine, thinking we were on the same page about our future. I had already helped her pay down her credit card debt, fronted the costs for her wellness studio, and taken care of most of our living expenses since she decided to go full-time into her business. I chalked it all up to partnership, investing in us. Isn't that what love is? Then, 2 months before the wedding, she handed me a document. Slim, professional-looking folder with a warm smile on her face. Asterisk, my cousin looked over some stuff and thought we should have a basic marriage agreement. Nothing major, just formalities. Honestly, you don't even need to read it. Just sign when you get time. Asterisk, I remember that moment too clearly. She kissed me, walked into the kitchen humming, like nothing unusual had happened. And maybe for most people, nothing had. But I read everything. Contracts, proposals, lease agreements. Fine print is where the real stories hide. So I opened it, just out of habit. And what I saw made me stop breathing for a second. The language was smooth, harmless on the surface. But layered underneath, it was anything but fair. If we divorced after a year, I'd owe her a chunk of my business, specifically a percentage of assets I'd already earned before the marriage. 40% of my equity in 3 properties. Monthly support payments. She was calling it a protective agreement, but it only protected her. It read like a divorce plan, not a marriage one. I didn't say anything that night. Or the next. I acted normal, told her I'd get to it soon. Meanwhile, something inside me flipped. I wasn't angry yet, just quiet. Watchful. Claire started acting different. More guarded. Phone always turned face down. Texting late at night. One evening, while she showered, she left her phone on the kitchen counter. Notifications kept lighting up. One of them caught my eye, her cousin's name. Curiosity got the better of me. I glanced at it. One message opened a door I couldn't close. He'll sign. He's blinded by love. Once the year's over, we file. Easy alimony. Easy settlement. Your new place will be ready by then. I stood there for a long time. Not touching anything. Not even angry. Just cold. I took screenshots. Emailed them to myself. Then I started paying attention. Checked her laptop browser history. Found listings in another city, where her ex lived, no less. Messages to a friend saying she was lining up her financial freedom. Like I was just a temporary sponsor for her new life. I knew then. I had to let her keep believing I was still in love. The wedding was still on. But now I had a plan of my own. After reading those messages and digging a little deeper into her quiet plans, everything around me started to look different. Our apartment, once warm and full of life, felt more like a stage. Every time Claire smiled, every time she leaned on my shoulder or talked about our future, I started wondering how long she'd been performing. But I didn't confront her. I needed time and clarity, so I kept playing the part. Supportive fiancé, excited groom-to-be. I went to tastings, met with the planner, even paid the final deposit on our venue. She had no idea I knew, and that gave me control. I quietly spoke with a lawyer, one I trusted, and showed him the document Claire wanted me to sign. His reaction said enough. "This isn't a prenup," he said. "It's a cash-out strategy." I kept collecting details, printed the texts, gathered the real estate listings she'd saved, and I waited. The rehearsal dinner was held at a cozy vineyard about 45 minutes outside the city. Small, elegant, filled with people from both sides of the family. Everyone was in good spirits. Claire was glowing in white, laughing with her friends, sipping wine like she'd already won. Her cousin was there, too, quiet, smug, sipping his drink like he was watching a slow-motion heist unfold. We finished the meal. People tapped their glasses, expecting me to give the traditional groom's speech. I stood up, took a breath, and looked at Claire. She smiled. I started slow. "Before I talk about love and partnership," I said, "I want to share something Claire gave me out of trust." Her smile wavered just a bit. I reached into my bag and pulled out the folder she'd handed me weeks ago. The document. "Claire asked me to sign this without reading it." I said, calmly. She said it was just formalities. There was a strange silence. People shifted in their seats. I opened the folder, but I read it. And here's what it says. After 12 months of marriage, just 12 months, I'd owe Claire a cut of my company, nearly half the equity in my properties, and regular support payments, regardless of what caused the divorce. Now there were murmurs. I heard someone whisper, "Wait, what?" Claire's expression changed, still trying to smile, but frozen in place. Her cousin looked down at his drink. At first, I thought maybe it was a misunderstanding, I said. Maybe she didn't realize what her cousin had written. But then I saw the messages. I looked at her. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Messages that made it clear this wasn't about love. It was a plan. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't get emotional. I just let the words hang there. Then, without another word, I started walking from table to table, handing out printed screenshots of her cousin's texts. Each one laid out the plan. Get married. Wait a year. File. Collect. I watched her face as people began reading. Her friends. Her parents. Mine. One of the servers actually paused mid-pour, confused by what he was hearing. Claire's cousin stood up and walked out. Just like that. Claire's voice finally cracked through the room. Wait, I can explain. That's not the whole. But it was. She knew it. Everyone in the room knew it. I looked at her one last time and said clearly, "The wedding is off. Claire, you have 24 hours to collect your things." I didn't storm out. I didn't need to. I just walked outside and let the air hit me. Some guests left quietly. Others clapped. A few stayed behind to check on me. Claire stayed inside, crying, but not saying much. I think she knew there was no salvaging anything. I didn't sleep much the night after the rehearsal dinner. Not out of regret, just exhaustion. The adrenaline, the emotional drain, the weight of seeing someone you cared about manipulate you so deliberately. It doesn't leave you quickly. By the next morning, Claire was gone from the apartment. No message. No apology. Just a half-empty closet and a few missing kitchen items. She didn't even bother to take the folder back. I expected backlash. Drama. Maybe a confrontation. Instead, she ghosted. Moved out of state within a week. Back near her ex, just like those real estate listings suggested. I heard from a mutual friend that she was telling people I humiliated her over private texts, framing it like I'd overreacted or violated her privacy. But here's the thing, screenshots don't lie. I didn't post them publicly. I didn't have to. Word got around, especially among her clients and followers. People talk. Her wellness brand took a hit. Sponsorships dried up. A few of her ex-clients messaged me, thanking me for exposing her, saying they'd always felt something was off about her coaching. I didn't respond. It wasn't about revenge. I wasn't interested in dragging her name through the mud. She did that to herself. About 3 weeks after everything went down, I got a single email from her. No subject line. Just a short paragraph. I didn't think you'd actually read it. I just thought, you loved me enough to trust me. I guess I was wrong. Or maybe you were. I didn't reply. Instead, I took time to recalibrate. Spent time with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. Took a long overdue solo trip. Got back into running. No dramatic healing arc. Just slow, steady clarity. Eventually, I started dating again. Cautiously. Then I met someone. Someone smart, thoughtful, and emotionally grounded. When I brought up the idea of a prenup a few months in, she just said, "That makes sense. It's a partnership, not a gamble." That one sentence did more to rebuild my idea of love than anything else. Looking back, I think what unsettled me most wasn't just the betrayal. It was the confidence Claire had that I wouldn't catch it. That she could play both sides, talk about soulmates, while setting up a financial exit strategy behind my back. That I wouldn't notice. That I wouldn't read. But I did. And I always will. She thought my love would blind me. She forgot I also pay attention. So, to anyone reading this, have you ever trusted someone a little too much, only to realize they saw your love as a resource? Would you have gone through with the public reveal like I did, or handled it behind closed doors? Because sometimes silence protects the wrong people. And I wasn't about to let that happen. Not again. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.